Hey, so you may be thinking I got new glasses, but no such luck. Thank God I don't need glasses. Just found these fake glasses laying around the house, and I put them on, and it brought me back to a period of my life many years ago where I did see a bunch of people wearing these type of glasses, and that was in the early 1990s when I spent summer as a counselor in one of the first Jewish camps after the collapse of the Soviet regime and after the Iron Curtain was lifted. And I want to share with you an incredible thing that happened to me and a bunch of my friends as we decided to travel a bit after the summer was over. For about 4 weeks, we worked really hard in the camp, and then we decided that for like a week or so, we're going to travel throughout Eastern Europe. We did it without a guide, with no internet, but somehow we managed to get where we needed to get. And it ended up happening that Shabbat we were going to end up spending in Prague. It's just kind of how it worked out. It's a bunch of incredible divine providence and where we found a place to stay. Lots of amazing stuff, which are for a different little video. But our biggest issue was that we were there for Shabbat, and at that period of time, you really couldn't get kosher food easily. So we had anticipated that, and we brought a box of matzah so that we'd have, instead of two chals, we'd have two matzahs. We did have one bottle of grape juice, so that was going to be for Kiddush. We had a jar of gefilte fish, which I guess we were going to divide with a bunch of the guys that were there. And we also had one very large kosher dry salami with us. So our plan was like this. We did have a little electric burner that we had used in Russia. So we were going to go out, buy a massive pot, and buy potatoes and beans and barley and onions and salt and some spices. And we were going to make ourselves the classic Jewish Shabbos stew, the chalt. And that's what we would eat. Some of it Friday night, some of it for Shabbat lunch, buy some fresh fruit and vegetables, and hey, we'll have ourselves a meager but filling Shabbat meal. None of us were thrilled about it, but it would be what it would be. It was part of the experience. Friday morning, we're walking through the streets of Prague, and across the street we see a family. They weren't visibly Jewish. They were wearing baseball caps, actually, but they had LA Dodgers baseball caps. There were no baseball caps in Czechoslovakia at that period of time. They hadn't made it yet. So we just kind of said, hey, guys. And they're like, hey, where are you guys from? And we're like, well, I was from Ohio then. And they're like, we're Jewish too. And actually, we're from Los Angeles. And us two families, we came on this little heritage tour that we planned out for many months in advance. And we're actually going to be spending Shabbat here in Prague. By the way, do you guys know any poor, hungry Jews in town? We're like, why? They're like, well, it's been a week-long trip already, and we bought a lot of vacuum-packed, amazing kosher food at a deli and takeout in Vienna. And we have tons of food left over. We bought way more than we really need. And we'd love to give it to any needy, hungry Jewish people in Prague. And we're like, we definitely know some very needy, very hungry Jewish people. How about us? And they're like, we'd love to give it to you. So we sent over a few of the guys to their hotel. I think they were staying at the Hilton. I think there was a Hilton then. They came back with 2 mega boxes with vacuum-packed chicken and meat and sides and salads and desserts. Oh, did we eat that Shabbos. It was insane. It was absolutely amazing. Now, it decides that it's an incredibly cool story. One of the incredible things about this story is something that's actually spoken about in this week's Torah portion, and that's the mitzvah of keeping kosher, the laws of kashrut, the Jewish dietary laws. You see, one of the incredible benefits of keeping kashrut are that if a Jew keeps kosher, wherever he's going to be, he's going to have to find another Jewish person so that he can actually eat. And imagine how wonderful it was that we found another Jewish person, and hey, we didn't just eat. It was a meal fit for a king. And that's one of the incredible things that's happened to me so many times throughout my life. Keeping kosher has connected me with people in other communities, in other countries, on other continents, just because I needed somewhere to eat, they needed somewhere to eat, and the unity in the Jewish people was increased by keeping the laws of kashrut, of keeping the laws of kosher. Just a tiny epilogue to the story. Their teenage son is now happily married, and he's actually my first cousin through marriage. My sister got married a bunch of years after that, and she married their nephew, and our families definitely have a lot more to do with one another than one would have ever imagined. So 2 Jewish families walking the streets of Prague, a bunch of hungry yeshiva guys also walking the streets of Prague, and there's a connection in Jewish unity that's eternal. Keeping kosher is a good idea. God said it's good for you, but it has some side benefits as well. It keeps us connected. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.